Coming to you live from our houses in Los Angeles, California, it's Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone, your comedy field guide to life. Tonight, Paula and I have fertile minds, but would we make good fertilizer? Sure, people refer to the dead as pushing up daisies, but are we really pushing up as many daisies as we could be? When it comes to the earth, are the dead carrying their weight? We touch the touchy issue of human composting with the aptly named Katrina Spade, CEO of Recompose. Plus, our show's popularity is soaring in Thailand, more or less. And to welcome and encourage our new fan base, our resident ethnographers, Professors Bonnie Burns and Tony Anita Hull, have put together a full dossier on our new fans' homeland. We see you, Thailand. Also, pad see you is delicious. Just saying, that is one tasty noodle-based dish. I'm Adam Felber, the man who diligently tills the intellectual soil of this show, gently coaxing dead premises to give life to new ideas that can be meticulously nurtured into neat rows of full-flowering conversation. And now, please welcome the woman who never fails to pick up the tree of knowledge and cram it through her own mental wood chipper. It's Paula Poundstone.
Hey, guys.
Paula Poundstone.
Hey, how are you all?
Good.
Good?
Glad to hear it.
Oh.
What?
Oh, no, you know what? It turns out one of us is not good. Our own Tony Anita Hull.
Tony's missing.
Yeah, she's not missing so much as she's called in ill, and we, of course, wish her the best.
You know what?
Yes.
She didn't want to read Moby Dick.
I know.
That might be the thing. We certainly wish her well. But as much as she's suffering, Paula, I got to tell you, what that means is that we're going to have to receive the full report on Thailand from Professor Bonnie Burns, and God help us all.
Oh, wow. That's going to be so informative. Hey, thanks to tonight's house band, returning champ and nobody, Harry Orlove on electric 12-string guitar. You can find Harry's music on all streaming platforms, and I mean all streaming platforms.
Wow.
I love him.
And I want to remind everyone again that last week we launched our brand new contest, The Longest Cat. If you can listen to episode 144, this is 145, and figure out which of our cats has the longest name, the name with the highest number of letters in it, then you will be entered into our drawing to win the big prize, Paula and me attending a Zoom party for you and up to 50 of your closest friends.
Okay, and you don't have to have 50 friends.
No.
It's up to 50. You know, it's BYOS soda. So I'm bringing my own Diet Pepsi, and I'll probably have some popcorn, perhaps some chips. I'm planning the party already. I'm so looking forward to it. The last one we did was really fun.
It was.
So there it is. Can't wait.
Okay, the contest ends at 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday. Paula Poundstone, what else is new with you?
I can't remember if I told you this, but I follow Martina Navratilova on Twitter, and I tweeted her one time challenging her to a ping pong match when it was safe for people to gather again, and her response was, "That's a date." And
wow.
So I don't know if she was thinking that it was going to be years and years before people could gather again. But I've been continuing to write stuff about it on Twitter, and I can't help but notice that she never responds. I hope she's not backing out from my challenge.
She might not be backing out. She might be feeling a little stalked at this point.
Stalked?
Yeah, like you're stalking her?
No, it's not stalking someone to challenge them to a match. How is that stalking?
Well, the first time it's not. How many times have you tweeted at her?
Well, no. I challenged her once, and then I've tweeted about the upcoming match. Not exclusively to her, but rather just telling people that me and Martina Navratilova are going to play a ping pong match. By the way, if anybody knows her, please make sure she's not practicing. I feel that's cheating.
Have you been practicing? You have a ping pong table.
No, I don't have any time. Plus, my dog Mo has dug holes all around the table. And so it would be like an ankle breaker to be out
What
there.
on earth makes you think that you could have a chance against Martina Navratilova in a ping pong match?
Well, ping pong and tennis are not the same.
No.
You'll find. Yeah. I mean, the ball is bigger in tennis. There's a court that you run around on in tennis. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a different game.
Yeah.
I mean, when you were over here playing one time, you tried to jump over the net and you broke the table. And we tried to tell you it's not the same.
I really feel like I could have cleared that thing if I just had a better run up. And, look, I apologized if not paid for it. I did apologize.
Yeah. Yeah. And apology accepted. But I'm going to have to get a new table, by the way, when she and I play. But if anybody knows her, do try to... try to stop by her house a lot.
That's
try to call
the
her
stalking
a lot,
thing.
Try to ask for things. No. This is if someone knows her, a neighbor or friend. Just keep her distracted. All right.
Let's move ahead. Hear ye. Oye, oye.
Oh, I'm so glad.
As President Pro Tem of the Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone Book Club, I call this meeting to order. First, old business. Is there any old business?
Yeah. I think that we were just about to censure Bonnie again in the last episode.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have Paula, without Tony, we have a simple 2/3 majority. So I move to censure Bonnie. Do I have a second?
Why are you censoring
Hang on
me?
a second, Bonnie. Do I have a second?
We were censuring you in the last episode. I remember.
Okay, now that I've
and then we get distracted.
now we'll take a vote. All in favor of censure? Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Bonnie, you've been censured.
There you go. She's
Okay.
She's
I
really
guess
good.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
You did something wrong at the end of last week. I can't remember what it was, but we were totally going to censure you.
I don't remember either. Just rest assured,
I
she
was
just
here.
This, it's
I was here.
For next week's episode, I'm having printed up "I've been censured" stickers.
I've been censured by Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me sum it up. This week we read chapters 56 through 65. And if you remember, last week we were talking about how the action was picking up and there was all this stuff happening and ghosts and new crew members and false alarms and meeting other ships. And then I started reading this week, and it was like 5 chapters of histories of the ways people have painted whales and shit like that. And I was like, wow, we hit a roadblock there. Because I'm getting then there was a lady who would make macrame whales, and I don't think they were accurate. And I couldn't believe it. And then, to make matters worse, the action picks up again, and they kill a whale. And that, to me, is super disturbing. I don't know what I was thinking, that I would somehow not think killing a whale was awful.
I think you should have seen that coming.
Yeah, but it brought home that, I fundamentally hate what this book is about, which is killing whales.
Yeah. I don't know if you're able to sort of, when they're teaching reading to kids, one of the things they do is have them sort of make predictions, about what's going to happen in what they're reading. And I just don't see how you didn't see the whale killing coming.
Maybe with all the talk of harpoons and whaling voyages and we're going to go kill whales t-shirts that the whole crew was wearing should have tipped me off. But no.
That should have been, and the song, lose your leg.
Yeah.
That,
should have. But no, I find the whole thing so distasteful. It makes it very hard for me to enjoy the book.
I agree.
Oh, for God's sakes. All right. Did you guys read the part wherein he referred to a guy who had a very accurate drawing of a whale? I think it was on a sign that he held with him, I believe, while he begged, and that he was missing a leg. And Ishmael felt like, oh, yeah, this is the real deal, because he does look how you would look. And he says his stump looked, authentic. And he refers to a stump speech. Did you get that?
Oh, yeah. That was a joke, wasn't it?
I don't know, because it occurred to me. I don't know where the word... Oh, so stump speech, do you think that came from somebody who would stand on the stump of a tree and make a speech?
I think that's exactly where it came from. Yeah. I don't know that for a brief fact.
Moment.
I've always thought that's what it was. I thought stump speeches date back way into the early 19th century, like frontier American campaigning stuff.
Possibly. I thought it was because when I heard that little part of it, I thought, well, maybe that's where the phrase came from.
But
when someone's been, mangled.
And this is where we're missing Tony Anita Hull, because none of us are Googling it right now.
She would have Googled this, and then I would have said, Tony, what are you doing? And I think we would have censored her.
Well,
so
you know what? Just because she's
now.
not here doesn't mean we can't do it. Motion to censor Tony Anita Hull for what she probably would have been doing were she here. Is that seconded?
Yeah, she was gonna be Googling.
Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a vote. All in favor of censoring?
And she wasn't going to do the reading.
Yeah, probably not. So let's censor her twice. Aye. Motion carried. Tony Anita Hull's been censored.
What are you, a Republican? That's not even... I mean, what's the point of me even voting?
Well, it's Paula and I are a good voting block here. We have a 2/3.
You're not even acting like my vote makes a difference.
No, Tony's not here. We have a 2/3 majority, and I am President Pro Tem.
Right, exactly. Okay.
He's President Protein. He's President Protein Powder. And I'll tell you something, I'm so worried about Tony Anita Hull. I wrote her an email, which I'm loath to do, but I did write her an email telling her to drink plenty of water and to stay away from the cheese or other dairy products.
Oh, Mrs. Culpepper, it's good to have you here. Is there any particular reason why Tony should be avoiding cheese?
Well, it can be very. I know she's not feeling well, or she says she's not she's either not feeling well, or she's telling a whopper to get out of reading Moby Dick.
One or the other, but I just don't get why cheese would be a problem. I mean, it seems like a pretty innocuous food substance.
Well, it isn't. That's where you're wrong, Adam Felber. You are wrong there. It can be poisonous. It can be cheese or other dairy products can be poisonous, Adam Felber. Do you know nothing?
Oh, you're referring to triotoxism, but that's kind of an old wives' tale. Nobody ever actually dies of triotoxism, as far as I remember.
Well, again, you're incorrect, sir. Captain Culpepper, my dearly departed husband, passed as a result of eating poison cheese.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry. I don't know how that could have slipped my mind. I guess I was thinking so much about...
Well, we've been over it before. It's true. I'm not sure how you could forget.
Yeah, it seems like I just keep bringing up this terrible memory. I do apologize, and we should speak of it no more. I'm very sorry about the captain and his dairy-related death.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was painful.
Yeah.
Wasn't just dairy-related. It was a cheese.
Well, I'm sure that's all we need to know about it, Mrs. Culpepper. Thank you very much. Let's move on.
It was a specific kind of cheese.
Right. What kind of cheese was it?
It was the Gouda that got him.
Oh, just like you, Mrs. Culpepper. That just doesn't age.
That joke doesn't age any more than cheese. I'm very, very worried about Tony Anita Hull.
Well, hopefully we'll hear from her before the show's out.
I've seen signs for a while that she wasn't quite right.
What signs is that?
Yeah.
Well, her patent refusal to read the assigned reading in the book club, and it is not the Moby Dick book club. It is the Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone book club that is reading Moby Dick by the by.
Yeah, no, we get that. I believe Paula mentioned something about that, too. Now, let me just move things along a little bit. Ms. Culpepper, you're welcome to hang out, but I do want to, Bonnie Burns, you have been... You've been moved all the way to the back of the batting order, it looks like.
Well, to be honest, I'd much rather hear from Mrs. Culpepper.
No, you
me.
have. Did you not read, Bonnie? Come on.
No, I did. I totally
I'll
read.
not have you hide behind my skirts in order to deny your misdeeds. Either you read Moby Dick or you did not read Moby Dick. Which is it?
Well, here's what I wanted to say about this. First of all, Paula, in the last show, I believe, made the analogy about how they didn't have electronics way back when Melville wrote this book. And so it was fine to go into all this detail because people didn't have a lot of other things to do. But I would like to point out that this book wasn't really successful back then.
It's true. It was not a hit in his lifetime.
Right. So be that as it may, I feel the way Adam did.
Was that Shakespeare you just said?
What?
Maybe.
She said, be that as it may, which is Shakespeare, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's what happened to me. I had the similar Adam experience. First of all, in chapter 55, which was just before we started this, there was a sentence where Melville says, you must needs conclude that the great Leviathan is that one creature in the world which must remain unpainted to the last. And I thought, oh, that's so beautiful. He's setting up this whole image of this great sea creature that really should be left alone. And then he goes on these chapters that we were supposed to read of all the description of the things that these humans have to go through in order to get this whale. And the more he went into this detail of what they're doing, the more this just became the ugliest, horrible thing. I started really hating these guys. And, Paula, you said, didn't we know that they were going to kill this whale? Yes, but it just didn't seem as awful in my head as reading about what they were really going to do.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bonnie. I think the book club is now united in wanting to see that Pequod go down to the bottom of the ocean and drag everybody with it.
Well, that's all well and good, Bonnie, but where do you think your whale jacket comes from?
Okay, I don't have a whale jacket.
Bonnie, you have a whale jacket?
She does. She has a
No,
whale.
I don't.
Yeah,
She has a whale jacket.
No.
She has a whale jacket.
Bonnie has a whale jacket, and
What is a whale jacket?
it's a whale skin jacket. She has that. Let me just say this is what we're getting right here is classic Bonnie Burns. Her initial with very little data feeling that this sort of uplifting idea that it was, Ahab has been described kind of badly from the very start. Bonnie does this thing where she'll sort of fall in love with something without meeting it. And so that was like everything that had been said about Ahab was pretty negative in the book all the way. And yet her thing was, it's a man who knows what he wants. Well, you could.
I never said that.
You could say that of Son of Sam. I don't think knowing what you want is necessarily the be all and end all.
No, I'm with you, Paula. But I came away with the same impression of these chapters. So Bonnie and we might have gotten here. We might have taken a different port of departure, but we got to the same destination, which is we want them all dead.
The two of you are rowing on the same side of the boat, and you know what that means? That means you're going in circles. That's what that means.
Thank you for your input, Mrs. Culpepper. And let me say, for similar reasons, Mrs. Culpepper, and I hate to say this out loud, Gone with the Wind doesn't hold up all that great either.
No, Gone with the Wind is no, it's not. It does not. I never read the book. But okay. No, I think conceptually the movie from the start, the beautiful story of the South. No, I don't think it does hold up.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Moby Dick might be similar, at least to me.
Well, no, I'll tell you one difference.
I'm not comparing humans to whales, but I'm just saying it's something that where
that's what I was about to say. There's no boats. There's no ocean. There are no whalers. No. I would say that it's a difficult comparison to make. I think you'd be better off with the Peanuts.
Peanuts?
The Peanuts, Charlie Brown and Lucy and Sally Linus. They are more like Moby Dick, I would say, than Gone with the Wind is like Moby Dick. I think that's a better comparison.
I don't see the comparison at all. I mean, with Moby Dick and Gone with the Wind, they're two novels that are set in a milieu which we now look at and kind of shudder a little bit for different reasons. But what about Peanuts?
I'll tell you something, Adam Philbert. I've always shuddered over milieu. I can't stand it on the caulking of my bathtub.
That's mildew.
Oh, a shudder.
You know what? I'm going to call this book club to a close. We've got a lot of business. Mrs. Culpepper, feel free to sit in for the vocabulary song. Paula, do you have a new word for us this week?
Oh my gosh, I do have a word, Adam.
Well, let's hear it.
It's Gluckschmerz. It's a noun that means being displeased by an event presumed to be desirable for someone else. It's obviously somewhat related to Schadenfreude. I'll use it in a sentence.
Okay.
It's award season in Hollywood, and the air is full of Gluckschmerz.
Okay.
It's a word that I would really like to keep at my fingertips. So let's put it right into the vocabulary song. This week's word is Gluckschmerz. It's a noun that means being displeased by an event presumed to be desirable for someone else. How wonderful. You received another trophy for your shelf. Last week's word was inveigh. It's a verb that means speak or write about someone with great hostility. Sports fans do this when a player doesn't show agility. The week before that, the word was schadenfreude. It's a noun that means pleasure derived by someone from another person's misfortune. I wouldn't mind if Mar-a-Lago was shut down through May or June. Going back before that, the word was immutable. It's an adjective that means not changing or able to be changed. What if the furniture on the Titanic couldn't be rearranged? And not long ago we had ultracrepidarian. It's an adjective that means expressing opinions on matters outside the scope of one's knowledge or expertise. It's also a noun that means someone you'd describe as ultracrepidarian, ultracrepidarian, ultracrepidarian. I think it's safe to eat that uncooked carrion. Let's never forget Gallimaufry, which I pronounced wrong until nobody James Hyder corrected me. It's a noun that means confused jumbler medley of things. Hodgepodge, who's podge, hodgepodge. Adam doesn't think my song is replicable, replicable, replicable. But I do, I do, I do, I do.
Oh, yes. Well done.
Yeah,
well done,
Paula.
Paula. Coming up, J.G. Ballard once said, elaborate burial customs are a sure sign of decadence. And then he probably added, and I don't care if nobody comes to my funeral, and ran away sobbing. We'll find a less decadent way to dispose of our remains next on Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone.
On this day in unremarkable history, Maria von Trapp said, "The hills weren't quiet all night last night." You know, I'm a mom, and I occasionally get a little gift for myself. For example, not too long ago, I got some microbial cleaning cloths. We are the givers of unconditional support, encouragement, and inspiration. Gift yourself a lasting symbol of that love with Pandora Jewelry. So I give me something other than a cleaning cloth?
Maybe you should. And you know what? When we picked up this sponsor, one of our number was immediately shrieking in glee and ecstasy at what a great product it was and how great it is that we get to advertise it. Bonnie Burns, talk to us about Pandora Jewelry.
No, I love Pandora. You know, my daughter turned me on to Pandora, and we went shopping one day together, and we both got these little rings. They're so cute. They're a little heart with a turquoise stone in them, and the band part is a chain, not a band. So it's a little unconventional looking. And then while we were there, the jewelry they have in there is not that traditional looking. They're very unique styles. And so we each got earrings, and they had a special, and so it ended up that one of us got a pair of free earrings. But every time I look down at this ring, I'm just reminded of that trip we took together. it was a great experience.
Yes, thank you, Bonnie Burns. And Paula, Mother's Day's coming up, isn't it?
It is. Let Mom know you'll always be by her side with a message of love that she can wear every day. Shop April 22nd through the 26th and receive a free limited edition sterling silver bangle with your Pandora purchase of $150 or more.
This season, Pandora has gifts for every mom with new designs in their collection of contemporary classics. Express a connection that's stronger than words with symbols of love and gratitude such as hearts, infinity symbols, angel wings, and family trees that remind us how special mothers are.
Shop safely in-store with Pandora's styling experts to find the perfect gift for any mom on your list. Buy online with in-store pickup and curbside pickup at select locations. Please contact your local store to learn more.
Thank the mom in your life for always being there with a sparkling gift from Pandora Jewelry. Shop online or in-store between April 22nd and April 26th and receive a bonus gift with your $150 Pandora Jewelry purchase. A limited edition sterling silver bangle.
Go to us.pandora.net/Paula to start shopping or find a store near you. That's us.pandora.net/Paula. Listen, I'm going to be completely honest with everybody. I suck with money. I calculate my financial security just sort of based on my mood. I think it's important to teach your kids how to be responsible with money so they don't have to grow up and be like me. You know, when I was young, I did save up for big purchases here and there. The idea of saving was probably, I probably was better at it when I was little than I am now. They did try to teach some financial literacy when I was a kid. And I did save up sometimes to buy, like Christmas presents, for example. One year I remember my family made fun of me about this forever, which is that I asked my dad if I could have a couple of dollars, and he gave it to me. I went in a store and bought him a Christmas present.
Well, I got to say, there is now something a little better than that in terms of teaching your kids about money management, and that is Go Henry. Now, what's cool about this, it makes financial education and building literacy easier. It's easy to use. It's convenient. It helps you help your kids set boundaries while allowing them to be a little independent. But this is what I like about it, Paula. Giving your kids $5 or $10 or an allowance of $1 a week doesn't mean a lot to kids today because they don't see their parents using cash. What Go Henry does is it gives them an ATM card that you're the gatekeeper of. So they actually feel like they're holding, they're holding something in their hand that feels like real spending to them, to this generation.
Go Henry's debit card for kids and app for parents is an easy, fun way to teach kids good money habits. Designed to help young people ages 6 to 18 learn about money firsthand and build financial independence. And what you don't want to do is send them off to college with a credit card for their first time. I can tell you that. With Go Henry, they can use their card to make purchases online, in stores, or at an ATM and track spending in real time and set savings goals. Oh, I haven't even heard the word savings in years. And make donations, helping them learn to budget and practice generosity. I like that.
Yeah, that's good. Get started at GoHenry.com and get 1 free month with promo code Paula. That's 1 free month at GoHenry.com, promo code Paula.
If you're going to try it anyways, use our code.
Thank you, house band Harry Orlove. Now, Paula, the other day, I think it was yesterday even, you and I were discussing beloved author Beverly Cleary, who passed away very recently at the age of 104.
104. And she wrote her last children's book, which was Ramona Quimby, age 8, at the age of 80. And
Wow.
What's amazing about that is that at 80, she still had enough understanding of what it was like to be a little kid. I can't get over that she lived to 104. And I have a theory about that.
Which is what?
Which is maybe she just didn't have arrangements,
You mean for
and
her?
so she couldn't
Yeah.
she couldn't die because she didn't have plans.
Well, right here we have a scholar turned entrepreneur who is dedicated to the reforming of what she calls the, quote, toxic, disempowering funeral industry and has invented a system to turn our dead into soil. Patent pending. She founded the Urban Death Project and is now CEO of Recompose. Please welcome Katrina Spade.
Yay! Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks for having me. I'm not sure I've ever been introduced as a former scholar, but I think it's pretty good.
You do have a master's in what, architecture?
It's true.
And yeah.
Yeah. I wrote a thesis, so I
There
am
you go.
a
You're a
former
scholar turned entrepreneur. Absolutely.
Scholar turned entrepreneur. Yeah, absolutely. I like it.
That's a great background. Now, I thought there was a college that was still experimenting with human composting, but hadn't yet nailed it. Is Recompose, the place that you started, are they actually providing that service now?
We sure are. We started providing that service in Washington State, near Seattle, where I live, in December of last year. We wanted to start in 2020 so it could feel like something good happened in 2020. And we managed to do it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. Now, how did you do it? I mean, what I've read at the college where they were working on this, they had gotten a significant amount of decomposition of the bodies just by putting it into the ground. No box, no coffin, no nothing. But the bones weren't all the way breaking down. So how did you do it?
Well, first, I think you might be thinking of a couple different things, if I'm not mistaken. One is when you put a body directly in the ground without a coffin, that's green burial or natural burial. And it's the way that people have done it for millennia all over the globe and sometimes still do. It's awesome. I love that concept. But what Recompose does, and I think the college you're probably thinking of is Western Carolina University, where we did our first proof of concept work. What we're talking about is actually technically it's composting humans. And the reason that's different, well, number one, we're not putting anyone into the ground. We're actually transforming their bodies outside of the ground. And then you have this compost or soil that you can use on plants and in gardens.
But don't you face the same challenge, which is how to get, when you say that people have done this, sort of for eons, that thing of putting a body directly in the ground, but the bones never got chewed up, did they?
Yeah, okay, I've asked myself that a lot because you're right. There's skeletons all over the world. There's mummified skeletons that you can come across. I mean, I haven't come across a human skeleton, thank God, but you can find skeletons in the woods of deer and stuff like that. And the reason is the decomposition process will stop if a skeleton dries out or if bones dry out. So often in the ground, you think about if you bury a person in the ground, depending on the moisture content of that land, of that ground, it's probably going to dry out at some point. And then it stops its decomposing process and it'll exist kind of forever.
Oh, that's why we see all these cattle skeletons in the desert.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
Let's try there.
But farmers actually, great segue, by the way, because farmers compost livestock. That's where I got this idea. It's not something I totally made up. It's something farmers have been doing for decades now. And they'll compost livestock, including the bones.
Wow.
All right. Mm-hmm. And how do you do it?
Well, I was inspired because I turned 30 and I thought that clearly, I suddenly thought I knew what mortality was because I had turned 30. And so,
oh boy, yeah, right? Oh boy, I was like, you can hear the clock ticking at 30, can't you?
Now I'm really heading that direction. So, but because I was a scholar in architecture school, I had the luxury and the space and time to look at my mortality from a design perspective. And I started to think okay, I know I don't want to be buried in a cemetery. That was never of interest to me. It just didn't, I don't know. I just wasn't interested in that. And then the default choice, of course, for most Americans is cremation. And that just seemed like such a waste of whatever I have left when I finally die, nutrients. And it just felt like, why would I want to burn it up? I don't love fire. And so I started investigating or thinking about what could an ecological, what could a, planet regenerating option be?
Now, how good is this soil? And also, on top of that, Who are the customers for it? The family of the deceased, or do you just package some, human soil and sell it?
Well, we don't sell it because that would be a problem, I think. No, so, in Washington State, where this process is now legal, the soil is sort of from a legal perspective, it's considered to be the same as ashes from cremation, which means that the family of the deceased, the next of kin, get to decide what to do with that soil.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we can't just package it up and sell it, nor would we want to.
Get your dead people's dirt. Get your dead people's dirt. Okay, so before I knew a lot about cremation, I had thought of cremation as sort of the eco-friendly, because you're not taking up a lot of space, and So I'd always kind of smiled on the idea of cremation, but it's not eco-friendly, is it?
I know you're not alone. Like, people say they would choose cremation because it's cheaper, it's simpler, and it's more environmentally friendly. Like everyone kind of has that perception. I did too when I started investigating this. But the reality is that the carbon footprint of conventional burial, where you have to manufacture and transport headstones, caskets, and then you're also doing the upkeep of the cemetery forever. That carbon footprint is almost identical to using fossil fuels to burn a corpse.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So what do you do?
Let's see where to start. First of all, what we're doing is, in principle, very similar to what's happening on the forest floor, not under the ground, but on top, where there's dead leaves, there's sticks, there's like your errant dead chipmunk. You've got all this dead organic material, and it's decomposing. And it's doing so because there's carbon material that's like the dead leaves, and there's nitrogen-rich material that's like the dead chipmunk. And carbon and nitrogen are critical for composting. And then there's oxygen from the breezes, and there's moisture from the rain. So you've got this topsoil being created. I mean, if you dig down just a little bit, there's like, holy crap, it's dirt.
Yeah.
Really rich dirt. And right on top of that is the stuff that will be dirt in a couple of months. So if you imagine that, but we're doing so inside of a vessel that fits a human being and a bunch of plant material, meaning we have wood chips and straw and alfalfa that we cocoon the body inside of, what looks kind of like a large aluminum can on its side. For lack of a better phrase. So it's very contained, very controlled environment to sort of mimic that forest floor decomposition. That vessel that we put the person in, we're also providing oxygen via a fan system to that vessel. And we're constantly taking the temperature inside the vessel, which is what tells us that the microbes, which are doing all the work, are working really hard and are really happy because they create incredibly hot temperatures just by doing the work. So we're taking the temperature that tells us, oh my gosh, 140 degrees, this vessel is doing great. That body inside is definitely breaking down. And we can, be sure that we're creating a safe material, which is devoid of pathogens because they've been killed by the heat. And also we're breaking the body and all that plant material down.
Wow. All right. Well, Moko Noana, I hope I pronounced his name right, said, cremation is the refusal to put a corpse to good use. Sure, but if you suggest a good use for a corpse might be an amusing life-size hand puppet, suddenly you're the sicko. Well, we'll dig back into the right way to dig a grave when we come back. The cat of the week is Chester from Bay Ridge, Brooklyn.
With Hellofresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on Hellofresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. I have cooked any number of HelloFresh recipes. I have discovered that I enjoy grains that I thought I didn't like, but it turned out I either hadn't tried them before or I hadn't tried them prepared these ways. And now I'm a big grain lover.
And when you say these ways, you mean your ways. You did it.
I did it. I did it following the HelloFresh recipe. I did it.
Yeah. HelloFresh offers more than 25 recipes to choose from each week, from vegetarian meals to craft burgers and extra special gourmet options. There's something for everyone to enjoy, with all recipes designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity.
HelloFresh's fresh ingredients are sourced directly from growers. Like, a guy will have just pulled like a stalk of corn off the corn stalk, and HelloFresh takes it and delivered from the farm to your front door in under a week. Contact free, of course.
Go to HelloFresh.com/12Paula and use code 12Paula for 12 free meals, including free shipping.
Try HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit, by visiting, wait for it, HelloFresh.com/12Paula and use code 12Paula for 12 free meals. That's a good deal, including free shipping. If you're going to try it anyways, use our code.
And we are back with Katrina Spade. Katrina, you have said that you find that today's funeral industry is alienating and doesn't really do it right. What is it that Recompose does? How do you talk to me about my Recomposed funeral?
So what I think that is sad about today's funeral industry, broadly speaking, is that it's become this thing where you as the consumer, like, you're not really supposed to know everything that's going on about everything. And someone should probably hold your hand through making these decisions. And someone should probably tell you what it means to be dignified. And someone should probably tell you what to wear to the funeral, the whole thing,
right,
and what kind of casket to buy, etc. And I think that would be great if instead a person was given the empowerment to decide what they want for their own body when they die, to think a little bit about mortality and what it means to be alive, and then to do something that really feels authentic at the end of it all.
Yeah, I would agree. But tell us, like, okay, so I fall off a cliff, and Paula looks into what the arrangements are for me, and I've commissioned Recompose. I think you refer to it as pre-compose.
Well, pre-compose is if you are not falling off a cliff yet, but you decide you want a plan to be composted when you die. You can sign up today for that service in 50 years if you want.
And then after that, I'll give you directions to that cliff.
Exactly.
Keep going.
What, back here? Ah!
Okay, let's say you fell off a cliff in New York. Right now, this process is not legal in New York, so we're not there yet. So
why isn't it legal?
Well, good question. Every state has different funeral laws. There's no federal laws really around funerals. And, but most states say that you can bury someone, you can cremate them, you can donate your body to science. And then there's another form of death care called alkaline hydrolysis, which is like, people call it water cremation. It's a way to kind of melt the body. That's legal in 17 states. But Recompose came on and said, let's also be able to turn bodies into soil. Here's how we do it. We've proven it's safe and effective. And then we realized we had to legalize it because it wasn't legal anywhere yet. So we started with Washington State because I live here in Seattle and the company's based here. And we walked around the halls of Olympia before COVID happened. This was in 2018. And I had a little baggie of soil that was created from a cow, not human yet because it wasn't legal, and a little baggie of wood chips, alfalfa, and straw. That's the plant material we lie the body in. And I would just... We would talk to legislators and show them those two baggies. This is before and this is after. The straw is before, and then here's the compost created from a cow. You can smell it, you can touch it. And half of them would be like, no, thanks. But even so, it just made it seem like not scary, I think. And then the other thing is, we talked about, this is about choice, about your family and friends having another choice for your body when you die. It's not required, but shouldn't we all be the ones that decide? And then it ended up being a very bipartisan bill here in Washington, partly because whether you're an environmentalist in Seattle or a farmer out in Pullman, you see the benefit of this. You might love the land in different ways, but farmers compost animals all the time, so they really get it. And so there was like a nice, really wide swath of people who wanted this to exist out here.
I thought bipartisanship had died, and
Not
that
for death care, I guess.
we were, and that we were mulching. We were mulching bipartisanship. So this is really kind of an uplifting story in that way.
Maybe a new bipartisanship has bloomed out of that. But let me go back to that question before. After I fall, after Paula pushes me off that cliff, what does the end game look like for me? Should I go with Recompose?
Okay, so yeah, let's say the cliff is in New York. So you would literally go to our website, recompose.life, and call the number on the screen. And then we would help you arrange for someone to transport your body here to Seattle.
Yeah, that's fine. I live in California. I don't know why I have to go to New York to get to that cliff.
Well, I think it's important because, we only have one location right now.
Right.
But we have had folks transported from all over the country to us. So basically, because of COVID, we decided to try Zoom services. And so on the day of the service, let's say your friends and family have provided with like a couple good songs, we would blast those songs. And we would play that. Well, yeah, we'd play that music while our services manager, Morgan, would be basically on camera. There'd be this array of 10 hexagonal vessels and a bunch of plants, and then your body lying in what we call the cradle and covered with the sheet. And then Morgan comes on the camera and she talks to you, your family on Zoom, and maybe a couple of your friends say something. And Morgan talks about how your body's returning to the carbon cycle and the beauty of the forest. And then she lays some wood chips and straw around your body on this kind of cradle, which is like a tray on wheels, sort of, but more beautiful than that. Okay. And then a couple more of us come on the camera and we actually load your body into one of these vessels in the array of 10 and close the door. So,
and that's when you hear a voice going, "I'm not dead."
Well, seriously, I am not joking. There's got to be a tiny subset of people who are terrified of being buried alive or cremated alive. And we can totally help you with that. You would just knock on the vessel. It's fine in there. You'd just be like, "Hello, could someone let me out?" I do think that's like a tiny niche.
I was really just kidding. I don't have that concern.
But don't you think some people must?
If I'm not dead and I got myself in that position, by then I deserve it.
I've certainly, the thought has crossed my mind for sure that such a thing might happen. So that's good to know that
I've met your kids.
People would respond. Yeah, I always tell people, I go, my kids were, in the past, they were planning on cremating me, and I've just been begging them to wait. So there's a lot of barriers just sort of culturally, right, and what we're used to. What are those and how do you deal with them?
Well, I think most people, like, we bring up death and it's kind of scary. So it's like, we usually have this 1-2 step thing where we'll say, people are like, "What do you do?" And I say, "Oh, I started this company and we turn people into soil after they die." And they go, "Whoa, that's gross." And then there's like a two or three beats. And then they're maybe thinking about cremation or something. And it's like, it's all a little bit gross because dead bodies, and then they typically come around to, even if they don't want to be turned into dirt themselves, like, it's on par with everything else. It's like a nice option to have. But, well, I think as a country, as a society, we're like really afraid of talking about it. And we've lots of denial, and it's almost radical to bring it up, which is really weird. Your point to that, the fact that it's even illegal to do anything around this stuff just points to how it's so backwards.
Stigmatized.
You would think that it would be illegal the other ways. Because there's so much chemicals involved and it mars the earth. And for all sorts of reasons, you would think the illegality would be the other way. But do they have a big, does that industry have some sort of stranglehold on the legislatures?
There's some weird stuff like, so the funeral industry basically began after the American Civil War, when some enterprising young men on the battlefield realized they could embalm soldiers. with arsenic at the time, I think.
Ew.
And then send them home to their families after they died, which like you could argue was a pretty good reason to embalm someone. But they also, this was brilliant, I think, but also kind of weird, but they were pre-selling to live soldiers. Like, hey, if you die, give me a couple $100, we'll send you home preserved. And so then Lincoln died and was preserved that way, embalmed, and then took on like I think a 16 city tour by train. And which is like great marketing for something like embalming. And
well, he had a great
today,
warm-up band too.
Yeah, right. And today, only the U.S. and Canada embalm with any frequency whatsoever. In other countries, they don't pump the body full of toxic chemicals just to preserve the corpse, because why would you try to preserve it? It's over. It's going back to the earth. But here we do that it's almost kind of a default. But so the industry started then, and it started on the East Coast. And then each state started creating schools and licensure to protect what was this burgeoning industry that suddenly, oh, well, if you're an embalmer, you should have a license and, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's the part I don't understand, because there's not a lot of risks involved with dead people.
No, you cannot hurt them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it seems like
No,
needless
we have a
bureaucracy.
funny thing about that, though.
Yeah.
Lincoln was so well embalmed that he's at Disney World still, moving and looks fresh as a daisy.
That's not him, Paula. That's an animatronic.
What do you mean? Have you been there?
Yeah, I've been there. It's a robot Lincoln.
No, it isn't. No,
Agree to disagree.
No, that is a good embalming job.
It could be. It could be. I'm willing to stand corrected. But Katrina, before we let you go, I would love to be turned into soil, but it's just so expensive. What's a guy to do?
The recompose price is $5,500. So that's not nothing, right? $5,500. It's a couple $1,000s. And however, the average cremation with a funeral and an urn is, I think it's $6,000 in the US. And then the average burial, I mean, it's probably like 20 grand at this point. I don't even know the number. It's expensive to be buried. So our price is not nothing. And we would love it if it was less, but there's a lot of care, as I told you, that goes into the process. It's not really just sticking someone out back in the compost bin. Yeah. So $5,500, I mean, depending on how you look at it, we take care of everything. We are your funeral home and we compost your body. So yeah, it's a bargain.
Well, Katrina, that was just excellent. But now that the interview is over, we're going to take the corpse of it and put it in the rich loam of a machine that we call the Poundstonator. Paula?
Thank you, Harry Orlove, making that amazing music on the 12-string guitar. If I could get you to give me a little background music, I'll tell you what the Poundstonator spit out about human composting. I love this idea. I don't think it's scary or morbid or gross. I think our lives have a beginning and a middle and an end. And all I want is that in the end, my regrets pile is much smaller than my pile of contributions. And if my last act could be not to burden the earth with the clutter of my remains, I'm only sorry I won't be alive to see it. All sorts of things could be created, starting with the rich soil that my dead body produces. Someday, someone will accidentally discover a beautiful peony that thrives on Diet Pepsi. A chair could be built with the wood from a tree with mysteriously rich soil that just collapses every time Donald Trump sits in it. Someday my friends might gather in my backyard to play ping pong, and after a few hours of laughter, trash talk, and the joy of volleys that continue when no one could possibly have returned that shot, people will start to say, "Has anyone seen Paula?" "No, I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her in a long time. She didn't look that good when I saw her months ago. I thought she'd be here. Hey, didn't Mo dig a hole in the ground right on this side of the table the last time we were here? Where'd it go?"
She is the founder of the Urban Death Project and CEO of Recompose. And she's just been fantastic. Thank you so much. Katrina Spade, everybody.
Thank you.
You were wonderful,
Katrina, you were
Thank you
fantastic.
so much.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Coming up next, a lot has happened in the former Kingdom of Siam since the days of the King and I. We explore the country and culture of our new fans in Thailand with Professor Burns, oh God, when we return.
Is there something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? You know what? What isn't these days? This has been a rough slog. BetterHelp will access your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist, and you can start communicating in under 48 hours.
It's not a crisis line, so don't even start with that. And it's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. BetterHelp orders a broad range of expertise, which may not be locally available in many areas.
You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you won't ever, this is my favorite part, you won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy.
BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if you need to. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available.
BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. Visit betterhelp.com/Paula. That's better, H-E-L-P, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional.
In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Paula.
Get the help you need. If you're going to try it anyways, use our code.
I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm always looking at a screen these days, especially during this bloody pandemic. And whether you're an avid news watcher or in serious need of a distraction, unplugging is easier said than done. One of my favorite ways to rest my eyes and get the content I'm itching for? I fire up a podcast and put in my Raycon wireless earbuds. That works for me. And if I happen to fall asleep, people, unlike these other earbuds, there's nothing hanging out of your ear, so I can just drift off listening to the mellifluous sounds of Paula Poundstone.
Raycons are built to perform anywhere and anytime.
Oh, yeah.
With water and sweat-resistant construction and Bluetooth that pairs quickly and seamlessly, and with enough battery life for 6 hours of playtime, you can unplug for a while.
Whether you're catching up on your favorite news podcasts, binging an audiobook, or powering through your workout with a pumped-up playlist, a pair of Raycons in your ears can make all the difference. No dangling wires or stems, as I said, get in your way. Raycons come in a range of stylish colorways, but always with a comfortable in-ear foot for a more discreet look.
The best part? Raycon makes great sound accessible to everyone. With wireless earbuds starting at half the price of other premium audio brands, Raycon's offering 15% off all their products for my listeners. And here's what you've got to do to get it. Go to buyraycon.com/Paula.
That's it. You'll get 15% off your entire Raycon order. So feel free to grab a pair and a spare and a present for your aunt. That's 15% off at buyraycon.com/Paula. buyraycon.com/Paula.
If you were going to try it anyways, use our code.
Fun fact, in nature, the heaviest of the most commonly occurring elements is uranium, although that could just be all those poofy shirts. And we're back. Paula, just a couple of weeks ago, Tony Nita Hull noticed that we had somehow shot to almost the very top of the pop charts among comedy podcasts in Thailand.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Now, I am. Why aren't you surprised?
Oh, we rock Thailand.
Yeah,
what,
but
are you kidding me?
what do you know about Thailand?
You know remember that great song, Thailand, beautiful girl in Guyland? Remember that?
That's Toyland, Paula. That's Toyland.
No, we're doing well in Thailand.
Right, we're doing well in Thailand, but the song is Toyland.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Anyway,
what-
anyway, apparently we got to number 7 on the comedy charts in Thailand.
Wow.
I know. And so what we decided to do, as is our wont here at Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone, is we decided to ask our resident ethnographers, Tony Anita Hall and Dr. Bonnie Burns, to issue a full report for us to get us up to speed on Thailand and welcome our new listeners. And then tragedy struck, and Tony can't be here tonight. So for our report...
So Bonnie's doing the report by herself?
Yeah, this has never happened.
Oh, my gosh. I'm a little worried this is going to create an international incident.
It really could. I want to apologize to the people of Thailand in advance. And on that, let's welcome Bonnie Burns. Hey!
Yay!
Well, hello, people. Nice to see you.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hello, Bonnie Burns, Captain Crinkle.
I'm here for my report on Thailand.
Without your colleague, Tony Anita Hall.
I know. This is the problem. So I have to say I'm really nervous about doing this tonight. Because here's the thing. You know how like when you get together for a group report and like maybe there was going to be a poster and one person was going to like spray the background with black spray paint and then the other person was going to bring like the white disc that would go on it. I feel like I'm the one that had the black spray paint for the back and then like I don't have the white discs. That's how I'm feeling going up there here to do the report.
What would the white discs be before? What would...
Like Tony and I would get together ahead of time and we'd go over what we'd each assembled and then we'd kind of go, okay, you do this, you do that. And now I'm left with like a ton of stuff and I haven't had time to really organize it. And like I like to highlight things and, you know, I don't have the right glasses prescriptions. And so it's really hard to read this stuff without getting double vision. And I'm just really concerned about how fast I can scroll through all of this to get to the good stuff. So you're going to have to bear with me.
Oh, we're going to bear with you, Bonnie. Oh, we're all about bearing with you.
I want to say two things. I want to say, can we just take a moment and apologize to Thailand again?
No,
and
I love Thailand, and I think there's many.
Also, you didn't answer my question.
No, I don't.
What
Thailand,
report
I love
was there
you.
a black background and white discs?
No, like you know, when you had the report, then the group report, and you got up to do it, and like maybe it was a map or something, and like you only had the black background and not the rest of what was supposed to go on the map. I feel like,
what were the white discs?
What difference does it make? I'm going to go on with Thailand, okay?
Oh my gosh.
Here's something about it. Okay, you know how it used to be, Thailand used to be known as Siam, right?
Yes.
I just found that out today, but yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, so guess what? The first known Siamese twins were born in Thailand.
Yes, they were found on the bank of a river by a Westerner. They were Chang and Ang, and the reason I know so much about them...
Why are you saying that?
Know that?
I'm going to tell you why I know that, because this is going to be something that we should say because it involves our friend. The reason I know all that is because our good friend Mo Rocca did an entire episode of his podcast Mobituaries about Chang and Ang, and I recommend all our listeners run over to that because it's one of the best podcasts I've ever heard.
That has nothing to do with Bonnie's presentation. She's supposed to do the presentation. So Bonnie, you go.
I voted
you go
Aaron
ahead. No, I
Felber be
didn't know that.
censored for the book club.
You can't.
Yes, I voted he be censored.
No, it's not censored, it's censured.
Okay, well.
And he's being censured for the Thailand report. That's exactly correct. All right, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So here we go. Here's the thing about Thailand. I used to hear from people that went to Thailand, like they'd come back from Thailand and they'd go, it's the most amazing place. I've never been happier. It was so beautiful. The food was great. I'm so relaxed from being there. And the thing is, this is what I learned about it. That's really, really true. And it's often called Land of the Big Smile.
Oh,
wow.
So would Oxnard kind of be a sister? Because a lot of people say that about Oxnard.
No, I don't think it would be the sister. And I think, since they say that the people in Thailand are so wonderful, maybe that's one reason that they really like our podcast.
Oh, that's got to be.
Okay, now in Thailand, the head is considered sacred and you can't touch the head. Okay?
Whose head?
Even a little child, you can't touch the child's head.
What happens if you do?
Huh.
It would be like abhorrent. You can't touch the head.
Ah. And that's why the Thai police are always arresting dentists.
I'm not sure that's a true fact.
I think one reason is the head's considered the most important part of the body. Maybe that's why our podcast is so popular. Like smart.
Maybe. I mean, I would
Yeah.
agree with that. It's up there. It's top 2 for sure.
I'm not really sure, by the way, that we could argue that we have a terribly smart podcast.
I think we do. I think you have to
we
be
do.
I understand.
smart to get
I
our
understand
humor.
that you think that we do. All right, so no head touching.
And it's like the land of the happy smile. It's called the land of the
Land of the happy
land of the
smile.
smile. Right.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm just not sure that the practical aspects of this have really been researched. But okay, all right. You should have asked like a friend who came back from Thailand. You should have said, "Did you touch anybody's head?" That's the only way to know for sure.
Okay, I'm not even getting to the really good parts yet in Thailand. I'm just
Well,
sort
you
of
should.
going through some interesting things. Okay, you're not supposed to point your feet at other people.
Oh, that's the worst
That's
insult.
disrespectful. Now, you can't
When
always
you
do
point
this
your
on the
feet?
subway. No, you're not supposed to point your feet directly at other people. It's disrespectful. Like if
Well, who the fuck points their feet at anybody?
if
So,
you're sitting
if I'm-
across from somebody, you should like tilt your feet to the side and not
Really?
directly at somebody else.
Where are you getting this? So, all right.
I
So, if I'm
researched.
walking down the street and somebody says to me, "Hey, can you tell me how to get to 26th Street?" So I pick up my foot and I point it,
No,
but not at them. Why would you point your foot?
No, she's
Stand
saying
a
if it's
little
pointing even in a
sideways.
general direction, even if your resting foot on the floor seems to be pointing at someone, Bonnie is saying that's an insult.
try
Wow.
and slant it a little.
I bet you that's causing a lot of hip problems
Okay. Okay.
because you have to like twist your feet to be unoffensive. Okay. Again, I'm not sure any of this is true, but
It's
okay, go
true.
Bonnie,
ahead.
Okay.
Bonnie, are you sure that you didn't get this from the big book of misconceptions about Thailand?
No, it's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know
Okay.
what would illustrate this better? Do you have like a spray painted black board with some white discs?
Yeah, that would
Because
make
I'm
it
not
clearer. That would
understanding.
really help.
Boy, you know what I wish I could listen to? I wish I could listen to a person in Thailand's podcast that has researched the United States.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I would love to hear their take on,
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Let's skip ahead a little bit, Ms. Burnington, in your report.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
These are more, general facts about Thailand. Here's something really interesting. It's the only country in all of Southeast Asia that was never colonized by a European country. That's very unusual.
Really? That
Yes.
is unusual.
that is unusual.
And
yeah.
actually, in Thai, Thailand means land of the free.
Oh.
I thought you said it was Land of Smiles a minute ago.
No,
No, they're
it's
happy they're free.
considered like the nickname for the country is Land of Smiles.
Well, the other nickname is Land of
Uh-huh.
a Thousand Nicknames.
Talk about the ties. Talk about how many people wear ties.
It's not
I
that kind of
didn't
tie.
find anything about that.
That's why we were so high, because I wear ties. That's why we were so high up on their comedy. I don't think we're going to be high on their comedy charts anymore. I'll
Not
tell you
after
that.
this, I'll tell you. But Bonnie, do you have any? I mean, come on.
There's more 7-Elevens in Bangkok than there are Starbucks in Seattle.
What?
Wow. That's shocking. I don't really have a firm image of Thailand in my head. Certainly not from this report.
I know, I'm sorry.
But
It's a little scattered.
the idea that there's any 7-Elevens there kind of blow me away.
I was surprised.
I mean, if you told me there was a bunch of IHOPs there, I'd be like, yeah, it's in their mission statement.
What are they selling in the 7-Eleven in Thailand? I mean, is there any way in hell people in Thailand are eating hot Cheetos?
I don't know. Bonnie?
I don't know.
Bonnie, we're going to move you into your final phase of your report right now. So quickly glance at your little sheet there and see if you can find your best fun facts. And I do want to ask you as we're doing this, what were your sources for this report besides Wikipedia?
I didn't use Wikipedia.
Whoa! What were your sources?
There was a clerk at 7-Eleven, and she just asked him.
Oh yeah, there's so many. You know where there's the most of these? Over there in that Thailand.
Thailand's got a ton of 7-Elevens.
You can't throw a brick without hitting a 7-Eleven in Thailand, in Bangkok. Come on.
Except for in Thailand, it's called 812.
Because of the time zones.
I'm exhausted. I'm on Thai time. All right, okay. Bonnie, go ahead.
Bring us home.
I think you're doing a fantastic job.
I do too.
Okay, here's the last thing. Red Bull, invented in Thailand.
Red Bull was invented in Thailand?
That was your grand finale?
Yeah, and then it was modified for Western tastes and became popular here.
Wow.
It's not very... yeah.
You're gonna have to go back to the workshop and work on a closing number, Bonnie, because Red Bull kind of came from Thailand. Isn't really the way to do it.
You don't think that was a big close?
Well, you were disadvantaged because it's an audio medium podcasting, and you weren't able to show the black spray painted poster board with the white discs, and that's usually your big closer.
I told you I was nervous about doing this.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you a round of applause right there. Bonnie Burns.
It was fantastic.
No, it really wasn't.
It really was. It was a terrific report.
No, it really was.
It wasn't.
Bonnie, honestly, we really did enjoy that report. We got a lot out of it. And I don't even think we needed to pre-apologize to the people of Thailand, the Thai people, because you did them proud. Some of that stuff might have been lies, but it was all very well presented.
It wasn't lies.
Yeah, I'm going to withhold judgment on the foot pointing thing.
I have two documentations for all my sources.
Wow.
Yeah, she got that book that was popular a few years ago, Shit I Made Up About Thailand.
By some guy who's never been to Thailand. But Bonnie Burns, everybody, really, really good. And nobodies, if you have any questions or comments, particularly if you're from Thailand and you want to talk about this report, or you want to bitch about how we run the book club, do that at nobodylistensToPaulaPoundstone@gmail.com. Now, moving ahead, Paula, for the people all the way from Bangkok to Bangor, Maine, what's going on in your Poundstone product empire this week?
I just want to say that the book, Shit I Made Up About Thailand, was written by Homebody Williams. Adam, every part of Poundstone Industries, also known as Lipstick Nancy Incorporated, has come together like a symphony. We continue to produce a goofy little homemade game show called Nobody Asked You, starring me, Paula Poundstone, where two contestants compete, answering questions about one another. Listeners can find it at paulapoundstone.com. And if you and a friend want to be contestants or you'd like to be a part of our Zoom audience, please send us an email at nobodyasked.you@gmail.com. I have to say one other thing about that, which is I tweeted accidentally last week. Instead of tweeting Nobody Asked You Game at gmail.com, I tweeted Nobody Asked You at gmail.com. And all these emails went to a woman that has nothing to do with us and was kind of upset about it. You can also order a video message from me for a friend or a loved one at cameo.com/PaulaP33. There's so much more I would love to tell you about my website, paulapoundstone.com. But as you know, Heidi.
And I want to remind everyone again that last week we launched our brand new contest, The Longest Cat. Just listen to episode 144 of our show and figure out which of our cats has the longest name, the one with the highest number of letters in it, and you will be entered into a drawing to win the big prize, a Zoom party featuring Paula and me and you and up to 50 of your closest friends. Submit your entries to, this is a great address here, Tony Anita Hull came up with it, bit.ly, that's bit.ly, gee, I hope she's okay, /NLTPP contest 421.
She's exhausted from writing that address.
That's why she's not here this week.
She has address writing exhaustion.
That's once again, that's bit.ly/NLTPP contest 421, or just go to our social medias. We're posting it there. The contest runs for one more week. It ends at 11:59 on Tuesday, April 28th. Subscribe to us. It's free. You'll get it every week, no charge. And if there's a subject or topic you want to know about, let us know. We're at nobodylistens-to-Paula-Poundstone@gmail.com. Once again, nobody listens to Paula Poundstone at gmail.com, and that is our show. Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone is hosted by Paula Poundstone and yours truly, Adam the Felber. Special thanks to our guest, Katrina Spade.
Yay!
And a big shout out to house band Nobody, Harry Orlove. We love Orlove. Our show is produced by Paula Poundstone, Adam Felber, Bonnie Burns, Ken Lezebnik, and Tony Anita Hull. Feel better, Tony. Intern is Carly Patron. Starburns production by Land Romo and Sam Dunwald.
Yay!
Yeah, Sam. Transcription services for the show provided by Transcribe Me, a premier internationally used transcription service. Use code Paula Poundstone when placing your order at transcribeme.com to receive an expedited service.
That's our show for tonight. Won't somebody please listen to me? I thought Bonnie did a fantastic job, but she chummed the water to begin with by dropping this bizarre clue of the white discs. And the whole time I was listening, all I could think about was, what are the white discs for? You know what I mean?
Well, by happenstance, Thailand is also known as land of 1,000 white discs.
That would at least be a connection. I mean, she didn't say what the connection was,
No, she didn't.
It was the Rosebud, geography report.
Yeah, a little snow globe of Bangkok falls to the floor and Bonnie gasps, "White discs."
Yeah.
Rosebud.
I bet you when you come back from Thailand, all you want to do is touch people's heads. Just that pent-up
God.
head-touching energy.
Also, do they shun you for touching your own head in public? Is that like, oh my God, please just put your hands back in your pants? What's the matter with you?
There's the smart comedy that we brag about.